guys, welcome to the Two Dogs Podcast. I'm Dr. Ingky.
I'm Dr. Ali. You almost called my name. Huh?
I want to say I'm Dr. Ali. Hey, wrong lah.
Your wife will start going, you again. Anyway, welcome to the Two Dogs Podcast. Two medical doctors. We talk about just about anything else. We don't talk much about medical. We talk about social issues. We talk about current issues. And today we're going to talk about
parenting issues. All right. So the topic of today is parenting challenges of the 21st century.
Oh, damn.
So, a quick background, right? Both of us, we were born in the 80s, grew up in the 80s and 90s, right?
Yep.
All right.
Yep.
So there was a point in time in our lives, there was no such thing as the internet.
Nope.
It only came in when roughly we were like teenagers.
Yes.
About then, right?
Early teenager.
Yeah, early teenagers. So there was a point in time, there was a period of time, right? Easily about 10 years or slightly more than 10 years, whereby there was no such thing as the internet.
Yeah. And there was no such thing as mobile phones.
Yes, there's no such thing as mobile phones.
We witnessed the evolution of mobile phones.
Yeah,
from a brick,
from a huge suitcase,
suitcase to a brick.
Suitcase.
To all different versions.
All the funky versions.
Till it became so small, now it's growing large
again.
all over again.
Yeah. Now we have kids. Yeah. All right. Now we don't have kids together, right? So we have kids.
We have civil partnership
with our own spouse. Okay. Yeah. But our kids are digital natives.
Correct.
That means that they the moment they're born, they're exposed to the internet already.
Yes.
All right.
Like it or not.
Yeah. Right. So a couple of days ago, my kids were fighting over something. All right. They were having an argument, and it was quite a loud argument.
Okay.
All right. So my older one's 7, younger one's 5. So the young one came and told me that Koko, which is older brother in Chinese, Koko is putting a lot of chickens in my house. I was like, I don't
chickens
understand.
In my house?
I don't understand what you're talking about. Why is that chickens in your house? Which house are you talking about? They say, Koko,
Rumah ayam is this?
Koko opened the door and flooded my house with chickens. All right. Let me tell you, they were talking about Minecraft.
Oh,
right? So apparently they were on the same server, on the same world. All right. So they built a house together, and then the older one trapped the younger one in the house and flooded with chickens. Now, when that complaint came to me, I didn't know how to do. I didn't know what to do. You know, nothing in my experience, right? Nothing that my father scolded or my mom scolded me ever put me in a position to talk to my kids to not put your brother in the digital house and flood it with chickens.
So for those of you who are going to write parenting books, right, please include this into your chapter.
So I was speechless, right? I have no idea how to react to it. All I could say is, well, you have to talk to your brother about it. I can't do anything, right? I can't go inside and delete your game. I can't go inside and remove the chickens because I have no idea how to even load the game. All right. So I was at a loss. So this is the introduction to parenting in the 21st century. Yeah.
Parenting challenges of the 21st century.
Yes, parenting challenges of the 21st century.
Well, I think digital is one of the biggest challenge. Digital thing, as much as we tell them they need to be restricted, at the same time, schools and social interaction requires you to have it.
You are totally right.
Schools make it nowadays. You know, since the whole pandemic time, online learning from everyone. Not everyone can afford to have a digital presence. Now everybody must have a digital presence, no matter your social standing. You will find a way to give it to your child. So now it becomes a double-edged sword. Back then it was so simple, you know. There's only a television and the VCR.
Yes, you are.
The VCR was the most important thing for us back then.
You are totally correct.
But you can just switch it off.
You are totally correct.
Now you can't. The same thing that gives entertainment gives you education, information.
Yes, you are totally right. You are totally right. And don't think it's just older kids. Actually, kids as young as 1 year old are already exposed to the internet. Right?
Yes.
Nowadays, devices like your phone and your iPads and all, they have made it so easy to use that even a 1 year old would know how to switch on YouTube, would know how to flick through videos. All right. Yes. Now, back in our days, which was a long time ago, you had no access to information until you started to learn to read.
Correct.
All right. So you want to learn about some things, you have to read books. Yes. And until then, prior to the ability to read books properly, like say until your age of 5 or 6, you have no exposure to much information, except other than the stuff that your parents tell you.
Correct. And that's another challenging, another parenting challenge, is that back then, parents actually have to read to you.
Yes.
They need to read to you so that you will learn. Nowadays, it's just put this on. This looks educational.
Yep.
Sit here. Don't disturb me.
Yeah.
Then they go about with their job. So yes, it's easier on today's front, but you lack the bond.
Yes, that is totally right.
You lack the bond. You lack the communication. You lack the love.
Yes.
That children actually will crave more rather than from a machine.
Yes, you are totally right.
It's amazing, right? It's unspoken, but the feeling is stronger.
Yes, because when you read to your child, you are actually communicating to them. Yeah. Right. There is actually even though you're not talking to them, there is some form of bond or there's a communication that's happening.
I think it's even in I think studies have also done the voice of your parents is soothing to you.
Yes.
And that's why there's so many of these advocacy to talk to your child while they're still in the womb, mainly just to get used to the vibration.
Yeah.
There's a certain vibration that makes it very soothing. That's why some of us we like, let's say, low hum. Some of us we like sea waves. Some of us like the sound of water. That resonates with you. Your parents' voice at the most tender time, not when they start scolding you, at the most tender time is when you crave it the most. Even if your parents are the one that scolds you a lot, even if your parents scolds you a lot, that very short burst of tenderness, you'll probably feel very loved one.
Not if your parents always scold you lah.
I'm sure at that rarity of them showing that love, you're like, wow. Either that or like, oh, yeah, sure, no, you're my parents.
Yeah. So another issue I would say, parenting challenges is that your child is exposed to a lot of information. All right, online. All right, whether it's through all this YouTube or all these apps. The problem with too much information is your child tends to pick up a lot of stuff. All right, and children don't really have a filter.
There's no filter.
They can't really tell what is right from wrong.
Yep.
All right. And of course, some people say, you know what, then I'll just limit their screen time. Yeah, but you can limit their screen time. But the moment, you can limit the content. But the moment they go to school, they are friends. Some of the friends have no limitation, and they start talking about certain things. Right? And you'll be surprised. I've seen my son talk about things that I've never even heard of. All right. Now there are good things and bad things lah. Some are educational, and some are probably at a point in time whereby it was a little bit too matured for him. It was a very mature topic. At the age of 5 years old, he was asking me about sexual reproduction and all, which yes, he should know, but most of the time, right, when we were growing up, we were only exposed to it like at age of 12, 13 years old. When stepwise. When we had some sort of maturity to understand or to filter the information. All right. Now, but at the age of 5, when they're exposed to all this stuff, sometimes it's difficult for them to actually filter it out.
Yeah. But again, the challenge for parents is that even let's take this topic of sex education. I think we had a podcast on it once. So when it comes to the challenge of sexual education, yes, traditionally parents are very they're a bit shy to talk about the topic.
Yes.
They find it very hard to approach the topic. All right, and then they always feel that maybe we'll let the teachers try to talk it out. Although we did advocate parents should be the ones to talk about it. So the challenge of parents is that when this kind of thing, let's say, happen to us, we need to take it as the ball that was passed to you.
Yes, you have to address it.
You need to run with it. You
have
need
to
address it. You can't just say, these are dirty things.
This is not for you. It's not for you. Yes.
You actually have to run with the ball, address it, and take this opportunity. Since it's still hot, let's talk about it. But your scope of how you want to address it, how you want to talk, that is challenging. It's not in any manual.
Yes.
And anyone who wrote it, it's already outdated.
Yes, it's really outdated. You're totally right.
So you need to be a very adaptable parent, which again is not easy.
Yeah,
it's a huge challenge to be adaptable in an environment that is never static.
Yes, you are totally right. You are totally
today
true.
You change, tomorrow it's a totally different ball game all over again.
True.
I think other challenges when it comes to parents, you mentioned it just now. I'm going to stress a little bit more. Parents being dependent on devices to pacify the kids. Back then, it was, you get someone to play with, you give them something to play with, and then you ignore their cries.
Yeah.
You come back much later, and then how you want to deal with it, it's a different story. But now, with a lot of lights, so lights and sound are the two basic stimulation a child will get, especially from the age of 1 to 5. So if you put anything shiny with noise and it moves, they're already distracted.
Yep.
What more if they have the ability to just move their hand and just do this?
Yes.
It's so easy.
So, yeah.
Now, this is a true story. It happened to a friend of mine whereby the child got so used to just doing everything in this motion and stopped communicating, did not develop communication skill because everything was on demand. All the way down to pointing what they want to eat, the child can actually find pictures to show what they want to eat, but will refuse to tell you that they want to eat that in language. So you have a phenomenon whereby the child is smart.
Yes.
Obviously, they know what to do, but they have developmental delay.
Yes. So this, I actually had a conversation with a child psychologist not too long ago, and also a physiotherapist, whereby they are actually seeing an increase in the past 4 to 5 years, an increase in developmental delays in children, especially those with high screen dependency. It means they spend a lot of screen time. You generally more than an hour a day. What they notice is there is a few kinds of developmental delay. Number one, there is sensory developmental delay.
Okay.
Sensory in terms of, because as you mentioned, there's a lot of flashing lights and all, right? And for a child, right, sometimes to actually filter all these flashing lights and all these loud noises, it's not easy for their brain. Now we can tune it off, but for some children, it's very difficult to tune it off. All right, and when you remove that stimulus from them, they start to throw tantrums. They start to throw tantrums because they're so dependent on it. So there'll be sensory delays, and children are meant to go out and play, touch soil, fall down. But when you put a screen in front of them, they stop doing all that. Hence, the sensory part of their brain does not develop as quickly, and that affects motor skills. Now, when that affects motor skills, that means that now your child is unable to do things that you were able to do at their age. Climbing a ladder, all right, sitting on a swing, coming out slides. You'll be surprised, a lot of kids are having issues.
Oh, really?
Just
can't go on the slide.
Regular sitting swing, right?
Okay.
They get scared.
All right.
Because of all these sensory issues. All right.
Yep.
Now, of course, third of all, as you mentioned, speech delays. All right, speech delay because there was no need for them to communicate at all. They just look at the screen.
Everything's there.
Everything is unilateral. You know, it's a one-way thing.
One-way communication.
It's a one-way communication.
And it's not even from a human.
Exactly. So, speech delays. So, the child psychologist and the physiotherapist did say, all this can be rectified the moment you reduce the screen time, send them for therapy, and then within 1 or 2 years, it catches up.
But
right?
it
And
still takes 1 or 2 years.
It takes one or 2 years.
1 or 2 weeks.
Nah, it's not that fast. It takes 1 or 2 years, it catches up. All right? But you have to also, in the future, then reduce their dependency on all this screen time.
Another one that I read was using too much of this dependency on screen causes autism-like features.
Yes.
Not autism.
Yes.
Not autism, but autism-like features.
Yes, correct.
You're
right. You're right.
And the main one is socializing.
Yes. You're right.
They don't want to socialize. They can't socialize. They don't need to socialize.
Yes.
So there is an overdiagnosis of autism.
Yes. So, so a lot of people, actually a lot of the child psychologists did tell us that nowadays they actually there's actually a diagnosis.
Okay.
All right.
There's a term for it.
There's a term for it now. It's like and as you mentioned, autistic-like syndrome. Right. Last time it was just called the autism spectrum. That's it. Done.
That's it.
But now they realize that actually all these kids had hit the milestones early on, but when it came to a certain point, it just stopped. Right, or it just slowed down, and they realized that point was when they generally are introduced to screen time.
So again, very big challenge. At one point of time, I'm not sure, but there was this trend that some parents like their child to be autistic because
why?
They thought they were going to be
smarter? They
thought they're going to be one of those gifted.
I understand.
Gifted ones, you know,
yes,
with photographic memory. You know, then you'll be like the good doctor, that kind of thing.
You'd be like Elon Musk or Einstein.
Yeah. So, but having that diagnosis is it's a bit of a stigma. It's a bit of a stigma when actually it was not, you were not born with it.
Yes.
But it was developed because of lack of social interaction.
Yeah.
All right. Another one that I find a huge challenge is over socializing and also the risk of child predators.
Yes.
I think it's much higher now because
the access,
because they go into your child's room.
Yes.
They go into your child's phone without physically having to be there.
You are totally right. Yeah. So in the past, to be a child predator, you have to physically be around children. You hang out in playgrounds, hang out near schools. And most of the time, parents will be alerted, hey, this is, this single guy who's always there looking, taking photos and all. So most of the time, people are alerted, and it takes a lot of effort to actually do it, so a lot of child predators don't do it. But now, as you mentioned, because of the digital world, right, behind every nickname, even though you say I'm a 13-year-old boy, can be a 50-year-old guy.
Yes. Behind a girl could still be a guy.
Yes. So it's much easier for them to actually communicate with your child. So I would say it's not easy to actually train your child to see the red flags. It's not easy. All right. Now, of course, a lot of people say, and then I don't give them the screen time, I don't give them the phone and all. It's impossible.
Then another challenge.
Yeah. No, it's impossible. I would say, I've seen so many people, even I myself have told myself, I won't give my kids screen time and all. It's impossible to actually limit them because their world requires it.
Yes. It's a requirement.
It's a requirement. Now it's not like a luxury thing. It's a necessity. It's a bare necessity for them.
Yes.
Right. So because of that, you have to teach them on how to identify red flags. But the problem is, as parents, we were never exposed to it. So we do not know what the red flags are.
Everything's a red flag.
Everything for who
cannot. Then the child will be like, why you give it to me if everything cannot?
Exactly.
Then they will grow resentment against you. It's not easy being a parent nowadays.
It's not easy being a parent. It's not easy being a parent because there's just so much stimulus from all corners. All right, so much stimulus, and at the same time, there is dangers lurking in different corners.
Okay, top 3 advice we should give parents or planning to be parents. Number 1, you have to be on top of technology.
Yes.
You need to know what is going on.
You need to know your Minecraft. Dude, I still don't understand the Minecraft thing.
Honestly, I have no idea too.
I have no idea. They'll tell me about. Okay. So, point number 1. All right, be on point. All right. Okay, understand things that your child's
going to get into
is going into.
You don't have to be great at it.
Yep.
But you have to know what is it all about, and you have to know, what are the limitations and what can be the potential red flags of all this new stuff that's coming out.
Okay. Point number 2. All right, screen time is okay for children, but limit the screen time and make it so that it's a reward instead of it being something that it's a given. It means that I'm back from school, straight away I'm just going to on the TV or I'm going to switch on the iPad or play with the phone. No such thing. In order for you to get that screen time, you need to do certain things first. Right? Do chores, finish your homework, and after that, after that, I'll reward you with half an hour of screen time. Then that's it. Within the half an hour, after half an hour, time's up.
In fact, I think the chores should include not just the homework, because that is your responsibility.
That is not chores, not including homework.
A lot of people say, finish your homework, I'll let you do it.
No.
It's not that. Finish your extra class, I'll let you do it. No. There has to be an added responsibility on top of that. All right. So things which hard to bring the backside up from the chair and do, like do the dishes, sweep the floor, water the plants, whatever it is. Start getting them into the habit of doing that.
You are totally right.
The others are your core responsibility as a child. Attend your class, finish your homework. That's your core responsibility. We're not asking anything else out of you. If I'm going to reward you for that, and then it defeats the purpose of a reward.
So we have this game in my house, right? Whereby every Saturday evenings, we have the game whereby all the screens, right, all the handphones and iPads and all goes into a box. All right, it goes into the box. Okay. And then there's a timer on top of the box. So we bought this small kitchen timer, right? Okay. It sits on the box, and then we switch it on for roughly about 4 to 5 hours. Okay. Right, depending on the time of the day, but generally it's about 4 to 5 hours. All right. In the 4 to 5 hours, you're not allowed to reach to the phone or your screen time. It sits in the box. Oh wow. Right. The person that reaches into the box to take out their screen time would have the nose painted red for the rest of the day.
How many times have you been painted?
Never.
Never.
it's a challenge for both the parents and the child. Because as parents also, we generally tend to stick to our screen time, our phone too much.
How many extra phones you have?
No, none. Right? Everything stays inside. Okay. All right? Switch it off, airplane mode and all, so that no calls come in.
Oh, nice.
No calls come in. So that is a pure family time.
Nice.
Now, it doesn't matter whether you guys are playing together, doing chores, or maybe just sitting down reading a book. Right? As long as there's no screen time, no distraction. All right? Family spending time with one another, and that's it. So what that does is it actually enforces the child into thinking that, hey, you know, I can actually go through the rest of my day without touching my phone or without touching the devices.
Third point, which is very related to this, is as parents, please trust your kid that they can do something without the device.
Yes.
Trust them that they will find something to do.
Yeah, they can always find something to do.
Trust them to make a mess too.
Yes,
but
no, it's normal.
But to clean up the mess is better than giving them the screen time.
You are totally right. So reward. So I spoke about reward. So what we did was this: if you want screen time on a weekend, if you want half an hour of screen time,
all right,
you need to read 1 hour of books.
Okay.
It doesn't matter what books you're reading. Okay, you can read school books if you want. It doesn't matter whether you're reading comic books. Also, I don't care.
Okay.
Right? As long as you are reading. Because what I want is I want them to have the habit of reading.
Correct.
Right? To build up the habit of reading, so that in the future when they're adults, at least they understand, hey, I don't only need to find information or entertainment through the device, I can find it through books as well.
Yes. Actually, you brought up a very interesting point. When I was younger, I don't like to read. And I only started to develop a habit of reading when I started reading comics.
Same as well.
And it's toilet time lah.
Yeah.
Half an hour there reading an Archie comic book, rereading Spider-Man.
Oh my god, it's like me. Damn. It's like looking in the mirror. Okay, so my parents never allowed me to buy comic books. All right, no Archies, nothing whatsoever. All right, but they love to buy me Reader's Digest. So I will go through the joke section.
Yes.
So
you always start with the joke section first.
So my habit of reading came when I was about 13 to 14 years old from reading the joke section.
Yes.
Then after when I'm done with the joke section, then the entire book is like, it's so boring. Okay, then I'll read the articles. I read the short articles first. Yes. I read the short articles first. Then after a while, you graduate to the main article. But that is also, enforcing the habit of reading.
Yes. And don't be surprised. I actually learned a lot of new vocabulary from comics.
Yeah, so don't think that comic books are bad. They are not bad, actually.
They're not bad. They're not bad. So they are something that you can actually learn from it. Although sometimes it may not be apparent. Like my daughter reads comics. She reads Archie. And then sometimes I ask her, do you understand what you're reading? She just looks at me and go, nope. But she will reread the same comic like a lot of times. Yeah. And then eventually one day she said, oh, now I know what that word means. I've been reading it like so many times, but now I know what it means. Eventually you get it. Yes. But because you've read it so many times, the application is there, waiting for the meaning to connect. It will happen eventually. So don't look down on comics. It's still something really good.
Yeah. You're totally true.
Right. So anyway, I hope you guys found this session useful. We're talking about parenting challenges
of the 21st
century. There's a lot more, but we're just going to cover this couple few that comes from the heart, our own experiences. Do subscribe, share, like our content, drop us a couple of questions,
and let us know what other challenges that you are facing.
Correct. And then we will just make all these questions that we've had over the last many episodes.
Yes,
we're guilty for not answering a lot, but we'll combine them into one episode very soon. And we'll let you guys know soon. All right. Until then, Dr. Ali signing off.
Dr. Ingky, have a good weekend.
I thought I was going to say Dr. Ali again.